Being Catalan means a feeling of belonging to a nation. It's belonging to a community. It's belonging to something greater than me, I guess. I started going to castells 2 years ago, but then I really joined them after the Erasmus, like seriously going to the SAT and to the ADOS and everything. So it's been a bit more than a year now and I love it. I love the feeling of belonging there. What we do, I think castells are beautiful and it's a great thing to be part of. I'm Laura, I'm 22, I'm a mathematician and I'm currently working as a backend software developer. And I live in a small city of 20,000 citizens called Manlleu in Osona, which is the center of Catalonia. I think that what's special about Catalan culture is the feeling of community. Most of the aspects in our culture have something to do with community. For example, in castells, if you don't go all in the same time, if you are not all of you in the correct place, everybody counts. You need everybody to be in its place and do its job for it to be good, for it to be great. And I think, for example, when you travel around, you see that feeling of community. Every time you are in another place and you meet a Catalan person, you will immediately feel connected. Like we have a really rich culture, and for me that is a privilege for one hand, but in the other hand, it is also a feeling that you need to fight every day for your culture to remain as it is. You need to fight against all the people that try to kill our culture. So it is one privilege in one hand, and in the other, it's also kind of difficult, but I like that too. I became a member of the independence movement. Firstly, I think because of national aspects, because I wanted to fight for my culture, for my language. But then I started realizing that it was not, at least not all about nationalism, not at all. But for me, there are more important aspects, and it is the social aspects. If I realize that if I want to fight for social achievements, if I want to fight for people's rights, for feminism, I felt like it was the right choice. I felt like we could not achieve that without the independence. So, some information about the history of Catalonia. We would have to go back centuries ago when there was Aragon Kingdom, and then there was the Kingdom of Castelo. It was not called Spain back then. The King of Aragon and the Queen of Castelo, they married each other, so they joined. And back then they were separate, so we had our language, we had Catalan, we had our government and everything. And since they joined, it all started to change. Then if we go some years later, we find another important point in Catalan history, the war that ended on the 11th of September of 1714, which is the Catalan National Day. Ironically, we celebrate the day that we lost the war as our national day. So sometimes they say that Catalans have loser mentality, but I do not think that. I think it's because we celebrate that even though we have been defeated many times in history, we still remain here and we are still strong and our nation still feels like a nation. I think the independence movement started again because one of the main reasons was the economy. We felt that the only way we could grow economically was if we were independent from Spain. And a lot of people that are not Catalan nationalists, like maybe they do not even speak Catalan, but they still think that for economic reasons it would be better if we were independent. But I do not think it was only because of economic reasons. It was also because we had a dictatorship several years ago, which was Franco, from 1939 until the 1975. And back then, all political questions that opposed Spain were immediately removed.
For hour after hour, the armed might of a dictatorship, dressed in battle kit and steel helmets reminiscent of another, sinister age, these men are part of the well-equipped security apparatus which keeps one man in total command of a nation of 33 million people, and the dictator, General Francisco Franco.
My father told me that it was difficult for him to go outside the house. Her mother told him not to speak Catalan, please, because if not, they will bring him to jail. My name is Marta Munté. I'm from Barcelona. I'm a teacher in the School of Jesuits. I'm Catalan. I have born here in Barcelona, and I feel Catalan. I feel also Spanish, but I feel more Catalan than Spanish. In the Franco dictatorship, I was a child. My parents lived most of the time with the Franco dictatorship. It was very difficult for them. The language was forbidden. We cannot speak Catalan in the street, although the families maintain the Catalan at home. They have to be obliged to do other kind of traditions. They were controlled by the Spanish government and from Franco, of course. He told me that the fear that they have when walking in the streets, because in a family we are used to speaking Catalan, no? With your sisters, your parents, and if you go outside and you cannot speak with them in your own language, and you have fear to speak because there were controls everywhere, no? So this has been a very bad period for them.
After the dictator died, apparently there was a transition to democracy, which wasn't done the best way, we could say. Back then it was very hard for people to step up and to confront the Spanish government because they had still in mind the war and all the things that happened during the dictatorship.
After a war, they have nothing to eat. It was very difficult to eat, and also these restrictions because we were different, no? In this case, due to Franco law.
An increasing awareness that the gap between rich and poor under Franco's regime has widened rather than diminished since the Civil War.
My father hates this dictatorship because as a child and after as a young man has had difficulties in all his life, no? I have lived only as Franco has died in 1975. I have not the perception of this. The only thing is that my education has been completely in Spanish because it was forbidden in the schools to teach Catalan. Only some schools after the dictatorship have begun to change the education into Catalan language. I'm so happy. I have also had to learn, but now my classes are in Catalan, or everything is in Catalan here, and we are happy to do that. We have our own television, our own government. We have an autonomous community that try to maintain or recuperate the things we had in the past. Because we were independent, and now you know that we are trying to do the same, no? To try to be an autonomous community, an independent community. We'll see.
So we are in the main square of my city, and here on Fridays in summer, when I was little, we used to dance sardanas every evening, and it was a very nice time because people would gather around here, and we would dance sardanas, which is the typical Catalan dance, and it's a dance that you do all together in a circle. And you have to go in the same movement, everybody. But as it was mostly for the elderly, it kept getting lost and less people were showing around, and eventually they stopped doing it, which for me it was sad. But this has happened not only in my city but in other places around here because some people think sardanos it's it's a dance for old people, so a lot of young people are not joining them, which it's kind of a shame. It's not lost. There's still people that dance it, but it's less and less people every time, and it's a bit sad. So the couple used to be there. Where you see the stairs, there the musicians used to be there, and then the people would gather all around the square to dance. And at the end, we would dance a final sardana, all of us together, because the other sardanas were just like small squares, everyone divided, and then we would join for a big, big, big circle all around the square. Some people think it's crazy because it's dangerous, and I get that. But people have to understand that it's not as dangerous as it seems because all the castells are very well prepared. So there's never gonna be a castell done that has not been done before in the practice. One of the feelings I get the most doing them is adrenaline. It's always the excitement of doing it, the process, everything needs to be in the right place and you talk with each other, now we need to go more to the left, more to the right, you need to communicate and all that. Everybody is excited because they are feeling like they are part of something. After that moment of tension, then when the castell is over and you've done it, the excitement is incredible. We all start shouting and jumping all together, and that is one of the greatest feelings.
The independency is kind of an expression of people being unhappy, but also, like it's like based on like cultural identity or on some sense of national identity, which is like a feeling of kind of belonging to a place and wanting to separate from a country. Kind of expresses that people maybe are unhappy about the situation. Hi, my name is Sergi. I'm from Barcelona, Catalonia, Spain. I was born here and also I grew up here. I did my studies on philosophy. I studied for 4 years here in Barcelona, and then I also did a master's on sustainability.
Castells represents very well the Catalan community because it has a feeling of community which is very common in the Catalan culture. Because in Castells everybody has a place, and it's what I like most about them. It's that even if you are short, you are tall, you are big, you are small, you are old, you are young, even if you are 4 years old, you have a place there. And your place is important.
pinyó, no caguis arengades que són salades, caga torrons que són més bons. Tió, tió, caga torró d'avellana i de pinyó, no caguis arengades que són salades, caga torrons que són més bons. Tió, tió, caga torró d'avellana i de pinyó, no caguis arengades que són salades, caga torrons que són més bons. Tió, tió, caga torró d'avellana i de pinyó, no caguis arengades que són salades.
I think that, like when people come to Spain, like for example, I don't know, foreigners, they think that kind of Spain is a state and people have like a common identity. People feel Spanish. But then you go to different places, like to Catalonia, to Galicia, maybe to the Basque Country, and you see people kind of don't really relate to Spain, and they have like a strong feeling of, like a regional feeling of, I don't know, being Catalan or being Andalusian, for example. Even like I was in the Canary Islands and people feel from the Canary Islands. It's kind of like a thing that in Spain there's not like a common identity. And that's fine, like you can also understand Spain as a country with, like multi-diversity, people kind of having different traditions, different history, different memories, kind of different narratives about where they come from.
Tot i això, el palau segueix expandint-se des del 1597 fins al 1619. Pere III el cerimoniós, el rei que va apostar per la creació de...
I do feel Catalan, yeah. I think I'm Catalanese, but I'm not independent. By Catalanese, I mean that I am in favor of the promotion of Catalan language, of Catalan culture, but then when it comes to politics, I'm more skeptical too. So I think that nationalism, in political senses, is a dangerous kind of virus. I don't know how to say it. For example, in the streets, I also heard, I don't know, puta España. Or like there's also like a common saying here that, for example, when something goes wrong, it's because we're in Spain, and when something goes good, it's because we're in Catalonia. And in the other side, also some people from, I don't know, let's say Spain, seem to hate Catalonia. But for me, both expressions come from like a bad understanding of what it means to be from a place, like I'm from Catalonia, I love Spain, I also feel like I'm Spanish also in a sense, and these kind of narratives of, like the others are worse than us is a very dangerous narrative. It's true that some people in Catalonia, they think that there's like a national identity. I would say, like people would say we have our own traditions, our own history, our own memory, but also, like there's also like a Spanish identity. I would say that, you could also understand Spain as a place where there's like a lot of different cultures.
On the day that we were voting on 2017, the Spanish government sent police to stop or to try to stop the voting. And the police went to different schools where the voting was being held. And they tried to stop the voting by force, by fighting, by hitting whoever it was in its way.
They've argued from the start that this is an illegal referendum.
Spanish police shut down polling in an attempt to prevent firing rubber bullets at crowds.
people were not resisting. They were trying to be as peaceful as they could, but still police was very aggressive, and there was nothing we could do about it but to stay strong and together as Catalans. In places like here, they try to protect the voting places. For example, what we did is, as we are in the countryside, we used some, there's a lot of farm here, we used some tractors and we put them in the ends of the street, so it was closed and the police cars couldn't go here. The day was getting worse and worse in terms of police violence. It kept moving more people and more people were shopping around. It created a sentiment of a feeling of angry, of sadness. Maybe it moved some people, maybe it scared others, I really don't know. And when the voting was done, the people that did the counting came outside this door, and I remember it very vividly, that we were all singing the national anthem and some traditional songs, and it was very emotional. I don't think it was ever meant to happen in a short period of time, but a lot of people believed in that. But politics is hard, it takes time, and you cannot construct a government from one day to another, you cannot construct a country from one day to another. So I don't think everybody understood that, and that is in some way a fault of the politicians, because they made people believe it was possible and it was going to happen soon. And it was not, it's going to take time, and I think that's a real thing that people should know. But I do think it's going to happen eventually. As I say, not in a short period of time, but in the future, I think it will happen, and I hope I can see it.
I would like that my Catalonia, my country, is a nation. It's an independent nation. I would like. I am also Spanish. It's not, but we can live together, work together, trade together, but in an independent way.
I would want to kind of forget about independence and tackle other political issues, like the corruption, like, for example, I don't know, like the unemployment, kind of the inflation, you know, kind of other political priorities.
I hope we never lose what we have. I hope we keep fighting for our nation, that we keep fighting for Catalan and for our culture, and that our traditions don't die. And I don't only hope that they don't die, but I hope that they go stronger. And I hope that we are recognized outside in the world, because we should be, even though we are not yet a country and we do not have a state that supports us, I hope that we can be recognized for what we are.